Time to boogie. All right. Welcome to another week of NFL picks. But not just NFL picks this time, because I didn't do the fantasy show on Wednesday. We didn't do the normal picks show yesterday. So today is a cluster. This is gonna be efficient, and I think it's gonna be really good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go right into NFL picks. We're gonna crush those, give all of our sides, best bets. If we end up disagreeing on a game, we're gonna crossfire, just automatic, $20 bet between us. No vig. So it's good value. And we're going to do that, run through all those, maybe do a slight future discussion. Then we're going to get into college football. Just going to give our picks really quick. And then at the end, I want to do a little NBA. We haven't talked any NBA, just like NBA thoughts, any futures you like, and also a little college basketball if you have anything. So it's just a cluster F day of sports. Time to make some money on some sports.
I feel like I haven't done this in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I know. Got the itch. All right, starting. Well, who cares about Panthers Bears? Starting over in Frankfurt, Colts -2.5 versus the New England Patriots. Belichick might be fired if they lose this game.
No way.
I can't bet this game. I can't bring myself to do it.
What? I love the Colts.
You love the Colts?
Love them. I'm back on it again.
Okay, I'm back on. Let me check, because I might have actually bet them on Sunday.
I think we did.
I tried to snipe lines on Sunday if I saw anything that I thought would move. Let me see.
So this reminds me of I know it's still not a road game, but it almost is in a sense. Bringing back all the travel shit, but it almost is in a sense a road game. And when a team is down this bad, traveling all the way to fucking Germany is just, you ought to have good energy as a team and good vibes going on in order to make a trip like this successful. And I feel like the Patriots are just so down and out, so defeated, versus the Colts are going over there to take care of business to get a win in order to keep their playoff hopes alive because they're at 4-5. So I think these teams have two completely different mindsets, and the public's on the Patriots, which just makes no sense to me. The Colts are a better team. They're almost playing for their lives in a sense. We're getting to that point of the year where it's teams are going to slowly start slipping out of playoff contention. And this just seems and these games too, sometimes they start slow. I can see this game starting slow. And if the Colts just run it down their throat and don't because the Patriots surprisingly played decently well against the pass last week. So if they just hit the ground and get their run game going early, I just think it's two teams on a way different side of where they are in their season. The Colts still have a lot of belief that they can make the playoffs, and I think that will show. So I like the Colts.
What did this open at? I actually think I might have even seen Colts +1. They might have been +1 on Sunday night. Let me just see.
It opened at 1.
It opened at 1. It's at 2.5, but 1. I see it at 2 on my book. So, all right, yeah, we'll give you 2 on that. I mean, yeah, you just got to win by a field goal. This game, I don't have a feel on this game because of the Belichick. I don't know if this is a rally the freaking troops type deal. Also, Belichick historically has done really well in these in the foreign lands games.
What made you think it's way different now versus last week with the Belichick shit? Did something come out?
Yeah. There's actually reports that say that there's a chance he's fired after this game. Because honestly, if you're the Patriots and you lose this game, you don't want to win anymore. So it actually benefits you to get rid of Belichick now, give him time to search out a job, start getting his feelers out for the, whether it's the Commanders or the Chargers, and then just go into full tank mode. I mean, you got the best tanking quarterback in the league in Mac Jones outside of Bryce Young. I mean, seriously. So
yeah,
it makes sense. So it could be, so I just don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to win one for the Gipper.
All right.
I also, to be honest, that Colts game, yes, they won relatively easily, but it was the stats the stats show the game was a little bit closer. It's just those pick sixes and whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, I'm still a pro Colts guy. But again, I said I wouldn't spend any time on these games that I'm not picking. So, but you picked -2.
You're taking a week off from the Colts. I understand it.
Yeah, I need a week off. Plus, dude, 6:30. I'm imagining this. I'm waking up at 6:30 a.m. and I've bet on the Colts in Frankfurt. It's just, I don't know.
Don't give me demons.
Okay, I'm just gonna go straight to this game because it's at the top of my ticker.
Yeah,
and it's a 10 o'clock game. I think the game of the week. Yeah. Niners at Jaguars. Niners laying 3. Hefty, boys. That is a hefty line.
Yeah.
You got a pick on this game?
Yeah, I do. It's one of my 5. I like the Niners, dude. So I think just because of the hype around this game, everyone knows the Niners are coming off a bye here, which obviously helps a lot. And it helps a lot in their case just where they were or where they are. And I'm saying where they were because a bye week cures a lot of shit. They seem to have, like, last year, this like weird streak came at the beginning of the year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, would they start like 1-3 last year or something weird?
I think it might have been 2-4. So
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, there was like a 4-game stretch where they went 1-3 and like dropping 3 in a row. And it is disappointing, I'm sure, as a Niners fan, because like there was a time and a place where like we were talking and it's like, could they like win every game? But it's the fucking NFL. Like, that's not how this league works. That's why it's so impressive when the Patriots did that so long ago. Like, it takes a lot to win every game. And, injuries happen, weird fluke games happen. Like, the ball doesn't bounce your way. So, it's a combination of all that. But throughout this, the one thing I thought that was good about Purdy is he didn't really change his attitude and like his like strategy towards the game, and neither did Shanahan. Like, they're still going to play their brand of football, but I feel like they're not good at playing from behind or not built from playing out behind, because this year the run game is not as good as it used to be. I know McCaffrey's still there, but a lot of it is in the past, and I think maybe they're not built from playing behind. And I'm not sure, too, like, when I thought of that, how much we've been tying into this narrative, because it's like, who is good at playing from behind? But it just feels like they aren't. But I think he'll really look to establish the run early and get that going because, God, it opens up their offense. And Purdy was playing against, like, every team knowing they were going to pass the ball, and any quarterback's kind of tough in that situation. But I don't know. I think Shanahan's such a good coach. I'm still just like on that train, and I think that a whole week to prepare for Jacksonville, which I still am on that like side of like, are they a little fraudulent? And I just, God, I don't know. They haven't shown me like elite status. Like, some people are putting them in the top 5 status. I'm not sure if I'm there yet. Like, a win this week would solidify that 100%. And I know that might be late, but for me, that's what they have to do, because they still started a little shaky. Like, if we're going to bash the Niners for their 3-game like stint here, then we should be bashing the Jags for their like 1-2 start, I think, or 1-3. So this is like one of their biggest game at home. So they need to win this to prove to me they're like a top 5 or top 7 team. But I don't know. Like I said, I think Shanahan's such a good coach. You have a weird 3 games, them coming off a bye. I love the Niners in this spot.
I'll tell you what makes me hesitant, because I feel really confident in the Niners So I do have a pick too. But it's just on the Niners team total. Over 23.5. With Purdy and McCaffrey, they're pretty much guaranteed 30 points every week, except for the last 3 weeks. They've been in a slump, obviously. I think the offense 100% is going to get back on track. It's just, for me, is a question of the defense. Like, is the defense going to be back to the level it was at, the beginning of the season last year, the year before? And honestly, like, I feel like I have to see it first before I'm confident in betting on the Niners. Because, I mean, they've just been torched the last 3 weeks. And, yeah, I mean, Steve Wilkes is moving to the sideline, which feels a little bit like, I don't know. It feels like just a PR move. And then, I mean, the boys are going to be ready to go. Chase Young, I don't know. It sounds a little bit like I'm excited about it, but it does feel a little bit like a panic move. But really, it comes down to this for me. This is what scares me. So there's one guy I follow that he probably has like the best, most accurate power ratings in the game. And he has the Jaguars 2.5 points better than an average team. He has the Niners 5 points better than an average team. So I'm just not even going to look at that. I'm just throwing out the Niners thing. But just I was in my head, the number one team in the league, he has Baltimore and Kansas City tied at 7 points better than an average team. So that would be, let's just assume the Niners are back to the way they were at the beginning of the year, and they're up there too. So they also were 7 points better.
Yeah.
That would mean they would be 4.5 points better than the Jags on a neutral. Mm-hmm. Yet this is in Jacksonville. Give them 2 points for home. So it's like this line is assuming basically that the Niners are back to being the best team in the NFL. And even with that, they're giving them that extra half point to get it to 3, which is scary. So it's just like, I don't know. I mean, the Jags also are off a bye. It just kind of scares me. So again, I'm just not touching this game. I'm not touching either side of this game. If I had to bet something, it honestly would be Jacksonville +3. It's pretty good value. Also, like I think teasing Jacksonville seems kind of safe. Teasing them up to 10. And but yeah, really, I think that it's just that Niners team total over 23.5. That feels like a goddamn lock to me.
Yeah, right. I like the over in this game at 45 too.
I do too. I really do.
I like the over in this game. And then, yeah, I didn't say 73% of the cash is on Jacksonville, which I like. I think everyone's just scared, like -3, just the way they've been looking on the road. Just all signs point to bet Jacksonville in a way. So, like,
yeah, it makes you, dude, that's how I feel. I feel like it's like they're giving such a fit. Like, if I was a Jags fan, like, it's like, this is such an auto bet, but it's one of those things where it's like, why is it 3? And then it scares you that it's 3.
It's like, almost like they want everyone to bet Jacksonville. It's like, oh, 3 at home. Like, I don't know. I mean, teams go through these streaks and turn it around. And if they're ever going to turn it around, it's off a bye. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Also, Trent Williams, like, I feel like he might not play.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's huge. But still, I think it's mostly about their D. Like, so yeah, again, goes to I like the over in this game. 44.5. Love it. Okay. On to Texans Bengals. Bengals down to 6.5. Got it at 7 on Sunday. Now I'm guessing that half point is T. Higgins out and Jamar Chase questionable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm betting Texans on this game. I'm a Stroud boy, boys.
Me too.
Let's go.
I'm a Stroud
boy. I'm a proud Stroud boy.
I am. No shame, dude. Stroud feels like Burrow his rookie year a little bit is what I thought of when I was comparing these quarterbacks. Like, goes into a dumpster fire of a franchise, is playing like out of his head as a rookie. Everyone's just like, this guy doesn't look like a rookie. Like, everything they're saying is like the same narrative when Burrow was a rookie. Just said Bookie.
Bookie.
And it's like, oh, like no interceptions. Like, this guy doesn't look like a rookie. Is this guy long term? Is this a generational talent? It's all the same shit. It's all true, but it's all the same shit. And like this year's Stroud is ranked higher than Burrow and just straight up stats, which is mind blowing. To have one pick up to week 10 is absolutely crazy. And dude, he's like seeing the field so well. Like, when you see a quarterback playing really well, it's like when you watch highlights and that ball is coming out before they're breaking their route. And like, he's doing that every single time. So the other thing too, and Cincinnati doesn't seem like it's that good of a home crowd ever, especially if it's not a night game. Their night games are like, someone was like, oh, this crowd's rocking. It's like, it's a Sunday night football game, dude. Every crowd should be rocking. Like, so I think that kind of plays into it. Everyone likes the Bengals here. It just seems like -6.5 seems like way too much to me in this situation. I think over time, the Bengals' lack of run game is going to expose them. like D'Amico Ryans will put together a really good plan around like them just absolutely defending the pass. Like that'll obviously involve a ton of blitzing, but I think over time that'll get exposed because they're going to have to run the ball at some point. And the problem with that is if you can't run the ball, it can get get some really quick 3-and-outs. So I don't know. I think the Texans keep this close. Like if the Bengals come out slow, then yeah, we'll play that video, please.
After year, the Stroud Boys have gone to elaborate lengths, spent enormous sums, taken great risks to build and keep weapons of mass destruction. The Stroud Boys have a fast and dangerous tank known to destroy the most sophisticated defense systems in the NFL. Military intelligence indicates that the Stroud Boys' air attack is the most dominant counter-offensive system seen in years. Let me say this loud and clear. Stroud is going to cook your favorite team.
Stroud. Touchdown! Takedown! The connection with Brown. Stroud like a sideline. Does he have the angle? He does! Touchdown!
On the replay, the ball was punched out. Look at it.
And I'm gonna stand on that.
I don't feel like you standing on business.
Not clean, y'all with it. No, I'm cleaning off the drink and I'm feeling like the road. Stacks in my pocket, I'ma shine on the glow.
I love that.
Bro, that shit gets me so fired up.
I know. I sent that to you. I was like, this is so good.
It's great also, like all of just the random stock footage, like the just the like tiger, like the sports car, like for no reason. I love it.
Wait,
but yeah,
I have a quick just on the Tank Dell topic.
Yeah.
So in one fantasy league, not that anyone cares, but so receivers, I have Addison, Scary Terry, Tank Dell, and Devontae. And it's like all signs are leading to benching Devontae, but it's like morally as a Raiders fan, which even if I take that out, it's my second round pick.
Nah, dude, you gotta play him and just bench Addison maybe. Maybe leave Tank on the bench. I mean, honestly, Stroud had 550 yards. Like Schultz had like 120 yards. Everyone ate on the team. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But
like morally, I can't. Oh.
But I think one important thing that hasn't been mentioned on this game, and I do think the money line is very live, boys. Is that the Bengals kind of have had their backs to the wall, and they played extremely tough competition. They got out of their bye, and then they had to play the freaking Niners. They beat the hell out of the Niners. Then they played the Bills on Sunday Night Football, beat the Bills. Now all of a sudden you got this nice easy game versus the Texans at home with an all-time look-ahead spot towards the Thursday game versus at the Ravens. And that game is like probably going to end up deciding who wins the division. So they're already holding out Higgins. They're probably, I don't know, maybe Chase will play, but if he plays, I bet he is, maybe he's just more of a decoy this week. So yeah, it's just like an all-time look-ahead spot. Like they've proven themselves as like one of the best teams in the league, but if they're ever going to get caught, the Stroud boys are going to catch them. And the Stroud boys are looking for, at this point, they have to be thinking like playoffs.
I mean, why wouldn't you? There's so much like hype around the team. And I feel like they're just in such a good spot, like the locker room. Like, I don't know if you saw everyone just talking about them. Like, Stroud's got fucking ice in his veins. Like, I mean, it's kind of hard though, because it's like, is this like a fun story or like they real contenders? I think they're real contenders, but sometimes when you see these young teams in sports, it's like they don't really know what they're doing and just play so loose because like they haven't like dealt with like a season coming up, like coming down to the playoffs, shit like that. There's no like really look ahead. It's just week to week they're playing loose and like they don't really know what's going on. It's like when a team gets hot in March Madness, it's like we don't really know like where we are and like how many like records we're breaking and like just the absolute shock of it all. But it's like we're just here to play fucking football, and I feel like that's the message D'Amico's kind of pushing across.
Yeah, so I think the only way to look is the Texans in this game, and it's probably, if the Bengals end up winning, it's going to be like a field goal game.
Yeah,
okay.
Public's on Bengals too.
Next game, Saints at the Vikings. Saints -3 on the fucking road. Do you have a play on this game? No?
Fuck
give me the fucking Vikings, man. The
No.
Vikings defense has looked phenomenal. Well, let me pull up these stats. Let's see. They did allow quite a bit to the Falcons, but that was also like they had turnovers and crazy shit. But other than that, 10 to the Packers, 17 to the Niners, 13 to the Bears, 20, 27 to the Chiefs, 13 to the Panthers. Their defense is just solid. It's absolutely a top 10 defense in the league. And it's one of those weird things where it's like when the quarterback goes out, all of a sudden the defense starts playing much better because they have to.
Yeah.
I honestly think that part of, like, as crazy as it sounds, like the Niners, like, I think part of it might be like a lack of urgency on the defensive side, just because they've been putting for so long there. They were just hanging up 30s, and then it all culminated in the Cowboys blowout. And yeah, I mean, I think the Vikings defense is awesome. Saints are terrible on the road. What's his face? Who's Dennis Allen is like, it's something god awful, like 2-13 against the spread after a win. It's like, or no, I think it's on the road after a win. So it's just something terrible. Carr on the road. It's tough to play in Minnesota, kind of an underrated fan experience. And I just feel like there's just some juice in the building. Like everyone's just like so horny for Dobbs. Everyone's, so happy everyone's like, they're coming together for Kirk Cousins. And yeah, I mean, I just honestly think that the Saints team, it's one of those things like I think this is the move. It's like we identify these teams that it's like, this team should not be allowed to be laying over a touch or over a field goal on the road. Like, in what world are we confident in them laying over a field goal on the road? And that's exactly what's happening. I mean, what the hell?
That's fair. That's fair.
So I like the Vikings. Also, Dobbs, the stories last week, like, I know everyone's just really blowing him and stuff, but like, he was literally like, he would get told to play and then get into the huddle, and like, he didn't know, like, he had to be told like all the way up until like he's about to snap the ball, like, yeah, like, Addison's doing this and that guy's doing that, and he was able to clutch it. So just another week of practice and actually like learning the plays, and he's such a smart guy. I just love the Vikings. It's good vibes. And this boo Saints.
So real quick, I was going to play this game with you with the Saints, just because I know you hate this division, but we kind of have to. I'm gonna run through just their remaining schedule real quick, and you just give me. Okay, just realistically here. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
At Vikings.
Loss.
At Falcons.
Loss.
Home versus Lions.
Loss.
Home versus Panthers.
Win.
Home Giants.
Win.
At Rams.
Win.
At Bucks.
Loss.
Home Falcons.
Win.
Okay, so 10-8.
God damn it. That's so frustrating. I mean, dude, honestly, like, what, they beat the Bears by 7 last week. And
yeah, they beat the Titans, Panthers, Patriots, Colts, and Bears. Like,
dude, and like, how many? Badgett turned the ball over 3 times. I think they were -5 in turnovers. Like, and they won by 7. So yeah, give me the Vikings. God damn Saints. I hate them. All right. I guess
We're still scarred from that fucking Thursday night game, dude.
Oh,
That was the worst experience of watching a game I've ever had. They ruined the football game for me. God.
Mark Graves asked, do you guys bet one game separately or parlay?
Separate.
Separate, but like, for example, I'm trying to think of, like, I'll do sometimes underdog parlays for not that much. Like,
I'm the most anti-parlay guy ever. The reason is just like, you're
giving away money.
You're giving away money. And if you're going to come to me and tell me about a 3 out of 4 parlay that you hit, I don't care. You bet the parlay, you won 3 out of 4 bets, but you didn't. So like, that's my thing. It's more like for fun, but
it's the best.
You're never going to have like any success.
The only like parlays that I really like are like stuff that's like heavily
money line
or stuff that's heavily correlated, like props. Like if you think the game is going to go this way, so you bet that team, and then you also bet the props, they're going to win, so their running back's going to have more rushes, and the other team, if they're going to win, then they're probably going to have a turnover, just stuff like that. I like, but this week I put down a couple like underdog parlay, just here round robin. I don't want to explain a round robin, but basically a bunch of the underdogs matched up together in 2-team parlays. Vikings Texans, like that easily could happen. All right. Okay. Now this game, I actually have already bet this game one way on Sunday just for pure value, because I thought the line would move, but I'm now coming back around and I'm on the other side of it. And that is Packers on the road in Pittsburgh laying -3.5.
I hate this game. I
hate it too. But here's the thing. So I did grab the Steelers -3 on Sunday, just impulse. Like, okay, that line's probably going to move, because I hated the way the Packers looked, and it was such a faulty win. Like Jordan Love was terrible. They just got a bunch of turnovers, and Brett Rippon was just so goddamn bad. However, Tomlin as a home favorite of over 3 points or something like that is like 40%. And overall, I just think these teams are pretty similar. They're about even teams. And the Steelers are laying more than a field goal. Like the Steelers have, wait, what is it? I think they haven't led by, or the only game they've led by more than a touchdown was the Raiders game. That the Raiders did the Raiders end up coming back and winning that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and the Raiders ended up coming back and winning that. But other than that, the most they've led this season is 7. So it's like this game's going to be a close game. It's absolutely going to be a close game. And if you're giving me 3.5, I'll take the Packers.
Yeah, this was the number one stay away game for me this week, because I don't want to watch it. That's the second, but number one, I just hate it. The line makes no sense to me.
None.
Like, the Packers suck. The Steelers do. I can't say they suck anymore, but I think I would have guessed like Steelers -5, but I'm not going to bet the Steelers because that offense is so sporadic. Like, it's the ultimate stay away game for me. I don't understand the line. I don't want to watch the game.
Yep. But that said, also a little bit of trouble in paradise. George Pickens is butthurt as hell since Deontay Johnson came back. I guess like Deontay Johnson, he scored his first touchdown in like forever. And like the whole team ran over to celebrate with him, except for Pickens, just went away, just all butthurt. And Pickens had like 1 catch in the game, I think. And then when he got home, he like unfollowed all the Steeler stuff on social media and like tweeted out about how he won. So it's just like, I don't know. That might be nothing, but it's kind of a free roll trouble in paradise. So I
saw
like
a free, he like at the bottom of his Instagram post, so like free Pickens or something.
Yeah, free Pickens. Yeah. And then like Antonio Brown tweeted like a picture of half Pickens' face, half his face.
You don't want to be on his side, dude. Fuck.
No, you don't. Okay, next game. This is a game I have no opinions on. Titans on the road at the Buccaneers. The Bucs -1. Hate this Bucs team.
I shockingly like this game. I said I wasn't really going to get into Bucs games, but I hate the Titans on the road. And the Bucs are fighting for a playoff spot. 70% of the cash is on the Titans. It's a weird, like, low over-under. And I think we really overreacted to Levis's game that first week. He went 22 for 39 last week with a 64 quarterback rating.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was just a huge overreaction. Like, even in that game, like, it was more like, holy shit, the Titans are moving the ball. But that doesn't necessarily correlate to, like, Titans are good just because you move the ball, you know? So I think it's just a huge overreaction to the Titans overall. The Bucs have a good D-line, so, like, they'll slow down Derrick Henry. And I think, like, with more film out on Levis, just 1 week there was a huge drop-off. Like, 1 week there was and he looks like one of those rookies that we've just seen all year where it's like, oh, like, because we, like, loved the first week was the same way, but it's like, oh, he's only completing 50% of his passes. It's like, this guy, God, he couldn't beat out Malik Willis. Like, Mike Vrabel is not an idiot, right? Like, he could have not looked that much better than Willis in camp. Like, I don't know. And last week kind of maybe showed his true colors a little bit. The Bucs have been good in spots, never great. And I think just 1 point at home versus a Titans team that's absolutely terrible on the road. Levis looked bad last week. I think it's a great spot for the Bucs.
I like the idea of fading Levis here. Like, if I was forced to pick this game, I guess I would kind of like Tampa. Just, I mean, you can't tell. This is saying that the Titans are a better team than Tampa. And I do not think you can definitively make that statement. I mean, at least Tampa's like hung in there. Now, just a little, I mean, Tampa is on the look ahead next week. I mean, they're not going to win next week, but kind of a big spread. What would you think Tampa on the road at the Niners next week?
10.
So, like, if they're going to win, they need to kind of win this game.
There's not really a look-ahead spot when you're 3-5.
No, but there is kind of like we're probably going to get our asses beat the following week, so, like, we got to win this game.
Yeah. I think either way, 3-5, like, and you can convince yourself at 4-5 you're in a good spot in this division. So,
especially after the Saints lose this week.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think they take care of business against the Titans. And I was thinking like -3 because, dude, they put up 37 points against the Texans last week. Like, they looked like a pretty good fucking team. So I think they're pretty, like, significantly better than the Titans now that I'm talking about it. But yeah, I like the Bucs a lot this week.
Titans also 0-4 away this season.
Yeah, they're terrible on the road.
I have so much disdain for these South v South matchups. They're just terrible. Terrible.
I feel you.
All right. Well, this is another good game. Browns at the Ravens. Baltimore laying 6.5. Baltimore looking like the best team in football. You got a thought on this game?
Yeah.
I have a gut feeling. I don't know if I'm willing to say it's a best bet.
Okay. It's in my 5. I like Ravens.
Ooh.
I like Ravens.
Okay.
PJ Walker has been fucking miserable. And I know
I think it's going to be
play this week.
Yeah.
And like, we held PJ Walker to some, like, kind of high standards. I know, like, talking about him would be interesting to do when he's not playing, but we thought that he was maybe better than Deshaun as, like, a bottom 5 QB in the league. And Deshaun just has not looked very good. The Ravens have played some bully ball, and, like, the Browns, how they stay in games is just being more physical than teams. And, like, the Ravens, shockingly, I know they don't have any big names at running back, but, like, the reason Lamar's been able to open up his game this year is, like, they've been able to run the ball pretty successfully. And obviously, if you're just going to sit there and drop back against the Browns, you're going to get sacked and throw picks. And I think they know exactly what the Browns are going to do. Like, they play them twice a year. I just think in these games, like obviously, like I knew this over under was going to be super low just because of like the reputation the teams have. But this game usually comes down to who can score because both defenses are always so good. It's usually an ugly game, but it's like who can break away and start scoring some points. And I just don't see the Browns doing that. And I see the Ravens doing that. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but yeah, I mean, this is going to be a classic test your commitment to football game. This isn't going to be a game that's going to be like, it'll be on red zone, but they'll only play it as much as they possibly can probably. But I think the Ravens pull away, dude. Like at the end of the day, it's like, how much better is the Browns defense than the Ravens? The Ravens defense has looked unreal, dude. Like Roquan Smith was a huge pickup. The defensive coordinator like has his defense playing super well. I just think they do what the Browns do well and why the Browns stay in games, and I think they pull away.
It's just so tough. I mean, part of me wants to say that the Ravens are overrated because I think those NFC matchups, like we just can't emphasize it enough. Like it is such an advantage for these teams that aren't used to playing Lamar. Like they pipe down Detroit, then they get to pipe down the Cardinals, then they get to pipe down the Seahawks. Lamar is like unbelievable versus the NFC. Now all of a sudden we got a division game, Deshaun Watson, at least another week. I don't know. I'm looking back at the history of this matchup because I do think that the first matchup between these teams was like a huge faulty final. Like just, you can't even, like DTR was told he was going to play like 30 minutes before the game and he just turned it over a zillion times. I'm just looking like last year, for example, the Ravens lost at Cleveland by 10. Then they beat Cleveland by 3 at home. Year before that, they lost by 2 at Cleveland. Then they won at home by 6. Year before that, they won at Cleveland by 5, then blew out Cleveland. I just think this game's going to be close. If I had to, you know what? Let's put $20 on it. I'll take the Browns.
All right.
Cool. All right. Time to also it's just the Ravens don't need this one. Okay. Next game is I'm getting lost in the ESPN sauce. Where is it? Oh God,
Thanks.
Falcons on the road, 2-point favorites at the Cardinals. Oh,
I thought this was going to be a morning game, so it wouldn't be on our TV, but this is going to be a full-blown watch.
It's a full watch.
I don't mind watching this game. I was going to be mad if it was in the 10 a.m. slot, and I was going to end up watching it. I don't mind watching Kyler Murray play football. It's like usually like pretty entertaining. So it's fine for me. But in terms of betting, so I've ended up taking my 5 picks every week and then adding like 3 usually. And this is a game I will not wager on. I hate it. There's so many question marks. The one thing I thought of was like, just because of Kyler doesn't mean that their roster still isn't absolute shit. Like a good quarterback that has an average coach and a bad offensive line and has no one to throw to, that doesn't change just because of your quarterback. So that was my thought. And I really don't think the line represents that at all. Like the Falcons are a super physical team, and I don't think the Cardinals are at all. And the more I talk about it, the more I want to bet the Falcons. But God, everything in my everything is telling me to stay away from this game. Like who knows? We see quarterbacks coming a lot. Like their first week, like Levis, Dobbs did it last week. I know Kyler is a step above them, but it's like first week back, quarterbacks tend to like pop off. And it's like, what if Kyler does that? Too many question marks, stay away.
Yeah, I'd say stay away. Like if anything, I would say I'd maybe take the Cardinals. Just on the rule of like these shitty teams and shitty offenses on the road favored. I just like the home team. Underdog. Plus Kyler. Okay, Kyler. The question I have with Kyler is like, how healthy is the leg? Is he going to be able to scramble? Because if he's able to scramble, I love the Cardinals. But it's just so uncertain. And It makes me feel better that it seems like he's been healthy for like 3 weeks, but they're just putting him in.
I saw something today that was a good point, is like, because people are asking that, right? And I was too. And someone's like, they wouldn't put him in if he wasn't 100% healthy. Like, they have one win. Like, that made sense to me.
True. So yeah, I'm kind of almost talking myself into liking the card. I kind of like the Cardinals. I won't do it. I won't put myself through that, but I kind of just like it's kind of a spite bet. It's kind of like,
I know, I was going to say, is this a spite bet situation? Cause I could get behind that.
It is a little bit of a spite bet. Okay. On to the next game. Lions at the Chargers, lane 3. Well, this was one I got to pat myself on the back. This was one I saw on Sunday when the Lions first came out and was like, huh? It was Lions -1.5. So I was able to snag that. Now it's at 3. Dude, the Chargers, okay, maybe give them a half point for just being able to be home. But it's going to be almost all Lions fans there.
Yeah, they've been traveling well this season.
Yeah, and half point. So what? They're saying the Lions are only 2.5 points better than the Chargers.
Bizarre.
I mean, the Chargers didn't look good versus the Jets. It's just the Jets didn't have any offense.
They looked bad.
And their offense is very sus ever since Herbert's thumb and Mike Williams went out.
Again, we're at another week of the Lions spread just absolutely disrespecting them. They're
so 6-2.
They're 6-2 against the spread this year. Dude, the Chargers, I think that we are victims as NFL fans of having the same exact perception of the Chargers every year, which is this super talented, freaky talented athletic team. And I watch them, I'm just like, you guys are so average. They have a problem at receiver, which is
dude, even Josh Palmer's on the IR. It's just Keenan Allen.
And apparently I saw something today that Quentin Johnson, their offense is run completely different than it was at TCU where he was. So he's just a lost cause. And it's where are their weapons? They don't really have enough. And their defense is average to below average. To me, their record fully indicates where they are as a team. And the Lions going in there off a bye, come on, dude. They're going to run over them. This is my favorite bet of the week.
It's just shockingly disrespectful.
It is.
Are you serious? How can you?
I don't get it too, because it's does Vegas, are they just baiting people to betting the Chargers?
I mean, now that it's at 3, I mean, I don't know what sickos could have possibly bet the Chargers when it first came out, +1.5. No. It's just that I'm not scared. There's games where I guess you're going against a quarterback that's truly great and an offense that's great, and they can heat it up, and all of a sudden you can be down a ton and you have to chase. But look, Herbert's great, but this offense is putrid. It's putrid right now. They can't really run the ball
after 3 and out.
It's just check down to Eckler after check down to Eckler, and then a little Keenan Allen. But they're not going to be able to score a ton of points in this game.
And the Lions score a lot. And their defense went from maybe one of the worst in the league to middle of the road. And dude, coming off a bye and God, dude, the Chargers don't look good on film. And I think the Lions coaching staff has been unreal this year. Offensive coordinator all the way through the defense. They've improved in every facet of the game, and them going into a game where they're going to have more fans. And it's like you said, it's not they're going into some hostile environment with some crazy good offense that can put up a shitload of points. We can't think that about the Chargers anymore. It's just not who they are.
No.
I fucking love the Lions here.
Dude, I think it was really telling just the Chiefs game, when they only put up 14. Usually those games are always tight and it's just back and forth. And Yeah, have to love the Lions. David Montgomery's back also. Let's fucking go. Roar. All right. I'm feeling good about this week. All right. This is a game that is just should be illegal. Cowboys home for the Giants.
Nothing.
17 points.
That's the most I've ever seen.
Dude. And the spread, dude, it's 17 points and the over-under is 38.5.
You know,
like, if I had
this really is this honestly, and I don't like talking negatively about the NFL because it's my favorite thing in the world. But this kind of indicates how this year's gone a little bit with the shitty quarterbacks and shitty teams. A 17-point spread should never happen in the NFL, and it disappoints me that there is one.
Tommy DeVito.
It's not even that, man. It's just like, it's so disappointing. Like,
well, especially it's an after. Like, couldn't you have at least made this like a 10 a.m. game where at least
no,
we can
because it's
just
Arizona.
not watch
They
it?
can't play at 10 a.m. When you're a West Coast team, you have to, wherever you are, you have to play it after 12 p.m. Like, you can't just play at 10 in Arizona. So it's, man, it's just disappointing for me in so many ways. And I won't bet this game and like won't really watch it. It's good for the Cowboys at least because it'll just grow Dak's confidence. I could see this just being fucking weird and like the Giants staying in the game somehow. Like, who knows? But I won't touch this. Fuck it.
Yeah, I actually liked at 16.5. I kind of liked the Cowboys. I know that's like it seems square, but it's almost like so square that it's actually not square. Because like everybody knows that you just in these type of situations, like you just got to bet the underdog. But like realistically, the Giants are not going to be able to score an offensive touchdown in this game. Like you saw them versus the Raiders with DeVito. I mean, the Cowboys beat them by like what 40 with Daniel Jones on the road at New York, and the Cowboys offense is humming, and they have something to prove after last week. Just disgusting game. Okay, next game, good game. Seahawks, lane 6 at home. Commies coming into town. I love the Seahawks.
Ooh. All right. This is our second $20 bet game.
All right. Sick.
I like the Commies, dude. For me, like, okay, this place is going to be fucking rocking. I feel like we haven't had like a 1 o'clock Seattle game slate in a while. It's going to be a tough environment to play in, but why is Howell played good in these environments this year? Like, these are the games that he's been playing super well, and 85% of the cash is on the Seahawks. So that was like my fourth point. I like getting 6 points with a quarterback that's playing better. That was my main thing looking at this game. Like, I'm getting 6 points. I understand this is maybe the loudest stadium in the NFL. Like, it's up there. Top 5 for like 100% top 5. And a quarterback that's been playing, I would say, like a good amount better than Geno Smith. And I don't think they're going to win, but I think they'll stay in this game. So, yeah, with all that said, I might end up looking like an idiot here because I'm betting on the Commanders on the road. But league is all based off quarterbacks, like quarterback-driven league, obviously, and it's gotten more and more like that with people not running the ball and just a quarterback, just everything aside, just who's playing better, it's Howell, and getting 6 points there, I'll take that.
Yeah, I just, so again, like it's like the Lions game for me. Like I just throw out that Ravens game. Like it just styles make fights. They're just not ready for it, and the game just got out of hand. So for the Seahawks right now, like all of a sudden they went from holy shit, we're in first place in the NFC West to oh my God, like, do we need to rethink everything about our team? Like, we just got housed by the Ravens. So I just like Pete Carroll. He's going to have everyone's attention after last week. I think they only had 2 first downs or 3 first downs in the game. Crazy. Seahawks message boards, Seahawks Twitter is like all of a sudden it reminds me of like Jimmy G type stuff, like the way everyone was like, there was all this pressure of hating Jimmy G and getting him out of there. Like Seahawks fans are calling for Drew Lock. Like they're kind of sick of Geno shit. So I think this is just a great. I mean, come on, the Commanders. If there's one thing you can do against the Commanders, it's pass the ball. I think Geno is going to pop off in this game. He's either going to,
I'd love to see it.
He's going to pop off. And also just the Commanders, like we've kind of talked about, like they can't string 2 good weeks together. Well, they actually just did it. They played really tough versus the Eagles, and then they won at the Patriots. But this is just not a team I want to bet coming off of a win and traveling all the way across the country. Ron Rivera, man. So
yeah, this is the farthest travel I think that exists.
Yes. And
unless,
Ron Rivera is
like Miami was going to Seattle.
And Ron Rivera has like really bad like West Coast travel stats. So I think this is going to be a blowout. However, I mean, you could catch this 6.5 back door. They could leave the back door open, absolutely, with House slinging it. All right, next game. Jets at Raiders. Raiders -1. Did this open with the Jets favorites?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought, which just looked bonkers and so bonkers that then I was afraid to bet it. But now it's Raiders -1.
Who do you like here?
I mean, I would have to lean Raiders, man.
Yeah, I'm concerned. Just O'Connell has had one good start and one piss poor start, and you're going against one of the best pass Ds in the league, which concerns me. And the Raiders, when they've been exposed this year, is like when they can't get the run game going, and like if it was Jimmy or O'Connell just dropping back to pass a bunch. I mean, all signs look great last week, but like, was it that first game bump with a new head coach? That's what scares me, and I don't think you can judge like too much off it. The one thing you can judge is like they just said over and over again, like these players were walking on eggshells in the locker room. Like the player literally was just like went up to McDaniels, just like, "I hate your fucking face." Yeah, like it was that bad, dude. So like these players are playing loose, which is great. But I'm saying this because I've just been disappointed so many times. So like what I do now is I lay out everything disappointing that could go wrong because I've seen it all. So I just lay it all out so I'm not surprised by anything because I've seen so much negativity. But the other thing too is like you always can play loose. That's fine. But are you organized? Do you have a good game plan in place? Is this guy like a good coach, or was that first game against the fucking Giants? So that's my reservations about this team. I hope they prove me wrong. I think this is an interesting spot as a head coach because usually they come in with like 4 or 5 games left. He's got half a season. And like technically they're not out of the playoffs.
No.
So like that's an interesting spot for an interim head coach. Like, and they've been put through so much weird adversity with like, you know, different head coaches, this and that. Like, that's why I like respected Derek Carr in a way, because like in 8 years he had 5 different head coaches. But 2 years ago they made the playoffs when Rich Bisaccia came in as a head coach. They've been in this spot before. They kind of excel in weird spots. So I think I'm excited for this game because I don't have to see that guy's dumb fucking face, and it's exciting just that the players are excited to play, because it just seemed like there was a lot of frustration in the building outside of Devontae Adams. Like when you watch a Sunday night football game, you're just going to see like, oh, Devontae's pissed. The whole fucking team was pissed, dude. Like Renfro was finally getting catches last week. Renfro just didn't magically just get fucking terrible. He just wasn't getting the ball. And like Jacobs looked great. The team, like there is something about a team like looking happy and like enjoying playing football again.
Absolutely.
That's a huge thing. And so we'll see, but I'm excited for this game because I think it'll be really telling like if they're real or not. So I like honestly, based off all of that, I have no idea. I'm not going to go in and like say like we're back. I did that with McDaniels because I just wanted to convince myself there was something there when there wasn't, and I knew that deep down. But I'm excited for it. I know this game is going to ruin people's Sunday nights, but I think it will be close, like the line says, for sure. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way.
Yeah, I think there's just a chance we're catching the Eagles like as they're or the Jets like as they're imploding. Like, yes, they did beat the Giants, but that was the worst game of all time. It literally like it took a miracle for them to win a game in which DeVito like had like one forward pass. So, and then they got blown out by the Chargers, who just aren't that good. I don't know. I think I like the Raiders here. It's a good spot for the Raiders. I know I'll end up betting it because I'll be chasing, and it's the Sunday night game. But as of right now, I won't put any best bet on it. Also, I forgot to say in the handicap for the Ravens game, Ravens also Thursday night. Look ahead. Okay. Is that the whole NFL slate?
Yeah, besides Monday, but we'll do that Monday.
Yeah, we'll do that Monday. I have no idea about that one. Okay. Let's move on. Let's just do rapid fire college football.
Okay.
Let's see. Give me your bets. I've got 3 that I like, and I think we're doubled up on at least 2.
Okay. I gave out 12 picks last week. I ended up going 6-6, so we're just based off 2 weeks, we're over 500.
Yeah, which is winning.
So again, we have Coastal at +2.5.
Don't like.
This is like 401k territory. At home, they're ranked better on offense and defense. They're getting 2.5 at home. They're 7-2 against the spread this year. And this line makes no sense. I've been doing this. I was telling you earlier. I've been doing this for the last 3 years, betting them. This is why I like the Lions, and this is why I like Coastal. Like every year, it's like 8-3 against the spread. They're 7-2 this year, getting 2.5 at home. They're ranked better than Texas State on offense and defense. Give me this all fucking day. I love it. That's the number one play of the week by a long shot.
All right. Yeah, co-signed.
I like Tennessee on the road. I don't think Missouri's that good. I think Tennessee's like gotten drastically better. It's disappointing like where they are with 2 losses because I think they would be like in college football playoff conversation without that. They just started off super slow. So I'll take them. Michigan, I put this down earlier at -4. I don't know if you saw like right before we got on, Harbaugh's not on the sidelines. Is he in the box?
Dude, I don't even know.
So that is one
That's
thing.
scary.
When they said he's not allowed on the sidelines, can he be in the booth? Is my question. Because why do they say just sidelines, like not allowed? So, but before that, I love, and I'm going to stick with it. I like Michigan at -4. Penn State cannot move the ball on offense against a good team. They couldn't do it against Ohio State. I don't see him just magically doing it just because it's at home against just a solid Michigan defense. I think Michigan has this weird thing, like
he can't even coach from the booth.
Damn, whatever. Well, they still went undefeated without him, and it's kind of like an us versus the world mentality, and I like teams when they're in that spot. So I like Michigan at -4. I like Georgia at 10.5. Ole Miss can move the ball, but I don't think they score a shitload of points. And I don't think they keep it up against the Georgia defense. Getting Georgia under like 12 is usually like very good territory, especially at home. So I'll take that. I also like Florida State at 2 touchdowns. They've been a little lackluster the last 2 weeks. I think they pull it together and just blow the wheels off Miami. That's like my second favorite one. I think USC like found something last week. In terms of just offense, like I remember, so I said to you on the college football show last week was like, in a like shootout, I like USC because it's just like they can move the ball and score right away, and you're kind of like, what the hell? But it's like, do you see their fucking? I know I wasn't right on that, but still, like, did you see their offense when it was humming? It was like, holy fucking shit.
Dude, so like that, it almost reminded me of like the Niner handicap I had where I'm just like, I like the Niners this week. I know their offense is going to be good. but I'm too scared of their defense, so I'll take just Niners team total. Like, you were dead nuts on with like Caleb's gonna want to show out. It's versus Penix. He's going to ball out 100%. He's gonna be locked in, but it's just like, fuck, man. Like, he just can't control the defense.
Yeah. So I mean, Autzon's gonna be. It's a fucking 7:30 game there. That is like up there. Non-SEC environments, that is top 5. 7:30 p.m. game, that's gonna be tough. But getting 16 points, if you can put up points like they did last week, I know they're very discouraged. Caleb Williams like crying and shit after the game, but like, I don't know. I'm tired of the they don't have shit to play for kind of thing. Like, go fucking beat Oregon. Like, I just think they have too much pride to do that again. So I like USC plus 16. I like West Virginia plus 11.5. I think those teams, just based off rankings and what I've seen, I've watched West Virginia play. I know it's a little dangerous because they're much better at home, but I like getting 11.5. It seems like a lot. And then super weird pick, I like Georgia State minus 2.5. So that's all 8. We'll keep my record after, but the first week was
really good. I can't remember what it was.
6-2-1.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Last week was 6-6. So we'll see how this week goes. My favorite 4 to parlay are Coastal, Tennessee, FSU, and West Virginia.
Okay, so of the bets, so I'm riding Coastal with you for forever. And then the 2 other ones that I really like are just Arizona minus 10. I just don't understand it. Colorado sucks, man. They got rid of their offensive coordinator, which is stupid because it's an offensive line issue. It's not like there's nothing there's nothing they can do.
No.
I know they're trying to be bowl eligible or whatever, but Arizona is just rolling. I just can't bet against them anymore, man. Like, they are absolutely rolling, and they're a high-powered offense. And there's just no way that Colorado's going to be able to keep up. Plus, Shedeur Sanders, it came out that last week he had to get some like pain shots, inflammation shots, like to stay in the game. So you got a banged up Sanders.
Finally, dude. I took way too long in the year to hear that.
I know. So I just don't understand. Like, minus 10, it feels free. It feels too free. The other one I love just because of the quarterback is Texas Tech plus 3.5. Kansas has been phenomenal. They just keep exceeding expectations and just not letting up. But I just love this Baron Morton guy just because I watched a couple games. I think maybe it was a year ago when he came in when he was still healthy. And I was like, damn, that looks like an NFL quarterback. So I think he's fully healthy. I think he's going to completely ball out in this game. The other one I like is Kentucky plus 3.5 in the first quarter, just because it's a sleepy early 9 a.m. Pacific time start. It's just an early game in Kentucky. I think Alabama is just going to roll in half asleep. The crowd's going to be going. I just like Alabama to get off to a slow start.
So I like that. Alabama's they're almost like they play from behind a lot, like starting the second half. So I like that. And that's kind of what we did with Colorado at the beginning. They come out so fucking slow, betting the other team first half. I like that a lot. I'm going to say something a little shocking is, dude, I've been enjoying college a little more than the NFL recently. In some ways.
I mean, dude, now that it's kind of wide open.
Well, it's just these shitty games are pissing me off.
I know.
Like having 12 quarterbacks in the NFL. Again, this is comparing amazing to amazing here. Like,
yes.
But college football has just been really fun for me this year. I don't know why. The ratings have like skyrocketed this year. So I don't know why. It's been super fun for me this year. Maybe I'm more invested in it, but I mean, it's just a treat Saturday and Sunday either way.
Dude, we'll also say like next year when we get the playoff, like that's going to be insanity.
Yeah, it's turning into like just more of a junior NFL than it already was.
Junior NFL.
Like before, like with the BCS, it was kind of just like you didn't really care about, even with the 14 college football playoff, you end up just caring more about different games. like for example, someone mentioned this week, like this Missouri Tennessee game would be fucking massive because it's 13-14.
Yeah.
So like with the expanded college football playoff, like this game would be fucking huge. And I already think it's a great game.
Yeah. And with spreads.
Yeah.
So good.
So
okay, this is my last
real
question
quick.
for college. Do you have any big upset, like anything that you feel like is a live upset, like, you know, TCU beating Texas or
would you call Penn State an upset?
Oh, definitely.
I don't like that as much.
Yeah.
At all, actually. The one I heard was like USC does something weird. I don't love that at a night game. I was a little surprised by this line. I think could get a little weird is Florida at LSU.
Yes.
I like the wheels are falling off for LSU. Florida does weird. Florida's like the king of upsets, so I kind of like that potentially being an upset. And then
plus 475.
Yeah, I like that one. And then
possible dream crusher scenario for the LSU after
this isn't
last
necessarily
week.
an upset in Vegas's eyes, but I like Rutgers on the road against Iowa.
Okay.
I almost added that in my picks. They're only +2, but Iowa's ranked and they're not, so I don't really know. And then I like UCF at home.
UCF at home. Okay. Sweet.
They're 4-5 and Oklahoma State's 15. It's at UCF. Oklahoma State's only -3, but like that's for sure an upset in my eyes. 4-5 team going against 15 in the country.
Dude, I kind of like I'm liking now the odds haven't really changed much, but I do like that I got Ohio State and Florida State to win the championship. 7-1, 6-1.
Yeah, Jordan Travis Heisman on. So if you want chaos in college football, what you want this week obviously is Penn State to win and then Michigan to beat Ohio State. So then Michigan and Ohio State both have one loss. And then what could get even weirder is the Georgia Bama championship game. Bama somehow wins because Bama quietly, dude, has won like 8 games in a row.
Yeah.
And Milroe last week looked really fucking good.
Yeah.
So I never want to count out Nick Saban. I know like Bama, whatever. I mean, Bama's 8-1 with 1 loss to Texas.
Like in terms of teams that can win the national championship, like Bama's in there. It's like what? Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, Ohio State, Bama. Would you end the list there?
Oregon.
You think Oregon could win the national championship?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're that good.
Okay. Hell yeah.
And I feel like we're just not talking about Texas anymore, and they're just like a 1-loss team. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Like, how ugly was their 1 loss to Oklahoma? Like, I don't know.
No, not bad.
Rivalry
Rivalry
where would
game.
they be ranked? Like, I mean, that was a last-second walk-off touchdown. Like, where would we be ranked Texas if they were undefeated? Like 2?
Dude, and they beat Bama in Bama.
They got up to like 3 at one point, and I think they'd realistically be at 5 just because all those teams are undefeated right now. They might nudge and get above Florida State if they're undefeated, but like we talked about, this is all going to be about how good your best loss is.
Yeah.
Like, where your loss, how good was that? And what I mean by that is like that Oklahoma one is up there. That's why Oregon's is up there, like at Washington. Bama's is not that good because they did not look good in that game against Texas.
Yeah, they got housed. Wait, so and how much is like who could possibly catch Texas? Like, do you see they're at TCU, then they're at Iowa State, and then they're home for Texas Tech. I kind of have a feeling Texas Tech might catch them.
They're gonna play at the Big 12 championship versus Oklahoma.
True, but I'm just saying, like in terms of the end of the regular season, do they have any chance of being caught?
I have a weird feeling about this week. I don't know. I like TCU, but now just like God, TCU lost to Colorado, who
Yeah.
sucks. But I liked TCU. I didn't put it in, but I'll probably end up taking them. I think where they get caught is at Iowa State potentially. Iowa State as like they have a great home crowd and they've hit their crowd. They hit their stride like later in the season. They're always every year I look for them to upset someone. So I would say maybe that. I don't think, dude, they're so talented. Like they're gonna becoming a huge fucking NFL pipeline. Like they're getting like Sark is just a good coach, good recruiter. But I kind of hope, but kind of don't they make the playoffs because it's like it's good for college football in a way.
Yeah,
and it's like, you know, fuck Texas, fuck this, fuck that, but like I've kind of hated them a little less just because it's weird. They're being talked about less when they're better.
Yes, true.
You know?
True,
like,
true.
Last year and the year before, it's like, oh, like Texas is back, but there is like we're not talking about them that much this year because there are so many good teams, and it's weird. Like this year, we haven't heard about them, and this happens with teams. It's like if they don't really play anyone in 4 weeks, you don't talk about them as much. But then I'm sitting there like they're still 8-1 with one loss to Oklahoma on the last second of the game. But that loss is getting worse and worse with how Oklahoma is doing, unfortunately. But dude, like they're gonna hang around, and if Oklahoma stays on this trend, like they're gonna be a one-loss team with a serious argument. But I'm just waiting for something to give. Like there hasn't been a serious upset this year, and I'm waiting for something to happen.
What about Utah, Washington?
I hate Utah's so bad on the road.
True,
but if they make the game ugly, that could be something. I think the spread's too much at 8.5. But I've seen Utah go on the road and just fucking lay an egg so many times. That's why I stayed away from it.
Dude, I mean, I almost like it's so everything's so close this year that I almost wish that that each conference was only allowed to get one into the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
want Bama and Georgia. I don't want Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah, I'm looking at the updated Heisman odds too, like because every week we kind of see. Okay, Bo Nix is plus 200 now, dude.
I'm seeing 160. Him and Penix.
2 weeks ago, I said throw some juice on him at like 16.
Yeah, you did.
And Jaden Daniels just dropped. I mentioned that. Marvin's still like hanging around. I have Jordan Travis, but McCarthy's gone from 200 to 800. I mean, this is becoming strictly a 4-man race now between Travis McCarthy. I mean, I know there's a top 4, but there's a huge drop from 4 to 5, in my opinion.
I mean, how about the fact that I'm seeing at FanDuel right now, Penix is plus 160, Bo Nix is plus 160, which, by the way, what fucking horse shit. Like, that's what's so fucked up about future odds is like, there's no bet, there's no no. Like, there's no they won't win the Heisman bet. So because of that, they can just say, let's make them both plus 160. You know, who cares? You know, which is just total bullshit because, I mean, this one's going to come down to Oregon, Washington, right? I like Jordan Travis still.
They already played.
Oh, will they not play in the championship game?
Oh yeah, they could. You're right.
So if they play in the championship game, it's just like whoever wins that wins the Heisman, basically. Now,
yeah, that is that's gonna be a good game. Oregon. I love Oregon in that spot, and that's just that would be such a good case for them too. But it's like, okay, your one loss was at Washington. You played better and lost because you were on the road, and then you come back and beat the same team later on in the season. How good can your case, it can't get much better as a one-loss team, especially if Washington's 5 in the country right now. Like, fuck. Dude, Oregon's going to sneak in. I'm telling you they're going to sneak in.
Okay, so, all right, let's move on. Okay, so that's college football. Do you want to? We have maybe another half out, 35 minutes to go. Do you want to take a quick break, take a pee break, come back and get your basketball hat on?
College or NBA?
Oh, both.
Sure. Let me
Okay. All right. We're gonna take a break. We'll be back in 5 minutes, maybe less. Right. All right. We back. Ready to talk some hoops. All right. Let's start with the NBA, Mr. Cassidy.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little NBA. Early season. Obviously we're both Warriors fans. I guess let's just start with what teams do you think? Let's make a list of the teams that, like, even if it's the slightest chance possible, that we think could win the championship.
Okay. Sixers, Celtics, Bucks,
Sixers, Celtics, Bucks,
Nuggets, Warriors.
Are you leaving it at that?
I'll do Suns I'll do Suns.
Yeah, even if it's like the slightest chance, it's just that there is a possibility. Basically,
Then
it's
Suns.
just that.
Then
Yeah.
Suns. Outside of that, no one.
Okay. So I challenge us to come up with like two more teams. So if everything breaks right. So I don't know. What do you think of the Timberwolves?
Yeah, I know you're high on them, but like championship seems like a huge stretch for me. Like Anthony Edwards I think has potential to be the face of the league here pretty soon. Like he's taking Jaws fucked up opportunity, and I think he has potential to be the face of the league. Like the one thing he struggled with is his jump shot, but that seems to be getting fixed. It was weird. Even like I was the one like knock on him was that, and I always am hesitant to see guys struggle with it in college and then go to the NBA with a like kind of broken jump shot, because a lot of the time you see guys really good in college, like from three, and they go into the NBA and struggle for a little bit. So I'm always a little hesitant on that. But he's figured everything out. He's almost got that dunking ability. I mean, it's fucking close. And the Timberwolves are like a cool young team, but I still don't Cat is just a little too sporadic for me. I don't know. And we're seeing slowly like the big man come back a little in a way. Like the Suns kind of did it with Ayton when they were going on a run, and we're kind of seeing it's not as much like a completely spread offense across the board. Like teams can still do it, but like that center role is definitely coming back a little bit. So like before, the knock on the T-Wolves was like, you know, you have Towns and Gobert, like what, like that really can't mesh together. You know, it has been meshing together. They have a lot of talent like across the board, but championship's a massive stretch for me.
Okay, so this is what I was thinking, because really, I guess I came to this a little bit because I'm trying to see the world in which the Warriors can win a championship. And I think the one thing that worries me with the Warriors is I think that there are matchups where they just may not be able to overcome the size disadvantage. We saw it with the Lakers last year. I still think they could beat any team. It's just it gets more and more unlikely. And I don't like how the league, like it's all of a sudden we look up now and it's a league kind of controlled by bigs. Like everybody has big ass guys. Like I've noticed it playing 2K. Like just even like think about like the Rockets. Like a team like the Rockets has like Şengün has like grown 2 more inches. He's like 7 foot with like skill and like all this shit. You know, just looking at the top of the league, obviously Denver has Jokic. The Timberwolves have Gobert and Towns and a bunch of athletic wings. OKC has Chet. Phoenix doesn't have anything. Go to the East, you got the Sixers have Embiid. Celtics have Porzingis and Horford. Bucks have Brook Lopez and Giannis. Like it's just kind of demonizing. I don't know. I just feel like in terms of like the Timberwolves have like a little bit of ownage on the Nuggets, I guess is why I was thinking about it. And just on the off chance that if Anthony Edwards can make the leap to be a top 7 player in the league this year, which he absolutely could based on like how he's played. I think he's like 50, 40, 85 right now. And like, he's also like can be an awesome defensive player when he really heats up, and just they've got the number 1 defense in the league right now with Gobert anchoring, which they didn't last year. He seems to be back to like prime form. Jaden McDaniels, like great defender, completely shut down Tatum. I just like their team. They've got freaking Kyle Anderson, who's just super annoying. Like I think there'll be a tough matchup for the Warriors. That will be a tough matchup for the Suns. Tough matchup for the Nuggets.
No, I think they're good. I just think you asked me the wrong question. Like, I think they're fun. I think they're really good, but championship, not yet.
Okay,
but
I guess. Yeah.
You know, the way you're phrasing it, like with that, I completely agree with everything you're saying. But I don't think they have a chance at a championship. Like, that's a whole different conversation.
I guess the conversation should
it's more
be
of like
more
run in the playoffs, maybe.
Yeah, the conversations should be more like, look, if we invest in them, like I did, 33-1 to win the West. Like, are they a team that like is that good value? Because you know maybe like this is a team that I think 100%. I think you'd even have to agree this team could make the conference finals, or they could at least go to like a game 7 of the semis. Absolutely,
yeah.
In which case
Definitely.
you can hedge out of your bet.
Yeah. No, definitely. But I mean the Nuggets, like I wasn't sure if they were gonna like back it up, but like starting the season 8-1, you always like. I find myself like not really diving into the standings until about 10 games.
Yeah.
Like for obvious reasons. And like starting off 8-1 is not fucking easy, dude, because they've had their home and like road stints. Like they've looked good. That Warriors Nuggets game looked like a fucking Western Conference Finals playoff game. I hope that's the preview. But no, I do like that value there. That division is really good because the Thunder are in there.
Thunder and T-Wolves.
Yeah. So I was saying Nuggets, and then Thunder and T-Wolves, then Blazers, Jazz. So it has legs for sure. I think it's gonna be like the Thunder. we talked about this actually. It's like they have all of this like good talent, and then they have all these fucking picks, and it just seems like they almost need like Shy's your star, but like it almost seems like after that there's too much like B or B plus players. You know, like I don't know about it, because like teams that have succeeded have like 2 star players and then a third like B plus A minus player, and now that they just have like Shy, and then like outside of that their whole team is just floating around like I would say like a B plus. And if you think about it, who's really your second option on that team? Like I like Chet's not there yet in my opinion. I don't know like what your thoughts are. And like then you have Jalen Williams, Dort, like and like Giddey's like a very good. I really like Giddey's game a lot, but he's just like a very good system player, like in an offense. Like he's not necessarily going to knock down a 3. So I just like their number 2 option just seems a little shaky to me. And that's why I think with all these picks and like these good solid players, like you go and get like someone really, really good. Like I was always surprised when I didn't hear anything about them going and getting Lillard. Like I know they have Shy and like Lillard's a point guard, but like fuck, like Lillard plays off the ball a good amount, and I feel like in the NBA now, like dude, we're seeing Chris Paul and Curry play together. Like, what's really the difference there? And I was just surprised not seeing that, like, because they have so many assets. Like if you pull it up, they have like 9 fucking picks in the next like 6 years, and there's only 2 picks in the NBA draft. So like that surprised me, and I think it's like I've watched 2 of their games. It's just kind of showed like Shy is fucking unbelievable. Yeah. I was always a little hesitant on him because it was like without like the dominant 3, I haven't seen that in a while, but we've seen like the mid-range come back a lot, and we've seen like the big comeback. So like it's just transitioning like with the NBA, because with the whole like Curry era, like everyone tried to just like duplicate that. Yeah. So like people like weren't doing that, but then like Shy just fully brought it back. So like good for him. I love watching that guy. Him off the pick and roll is as good as it gets.
Yeah, the Thunder are another interesting team. Like as far as if you want to take a long shot, I already have 50-1 to win the West. It would be based off what you were just saying. Is like first of all, they have a lot of room to get better. Second of all, they are absolutely live at the deadline to make a trade. Yeah. And as much as I love, like, it's like I individually love their starting 5. But, you know, it sounds stupid, but like playing with them on 2K, you can kind of get a feel of like, I'm not quite sure if this is like how this works. Like, I love Josh Giddey. I think Josh Giddey's awesome.
Not a 2K
Josh Giddey, he might not be the best fit for this team. Like he's 6'10". It's just kind of weird. Like he doesn't shoot. He can't shoot 3s. Yeah. So you got like,
which is Shea, what they need outside. Of
Shea can't shoot 3s, and then your shooting guard is like a 6'10" point guard, who I really like. But then and it's like Chet. Chet's awesome, by the way. Low key. Maybe a good bet would be just him to win Rookie of the Year, because he's like 20 points a game right now and pretty awesome. And if Wembanyama gets hurt or something. But and then Jalen Williams is great from Santa Clara. And Lou Dort's a great defensive player, but it's just like they don't have the shooting. They need.
Yeah. No, you just like by running through their roster, you just said exactly like my point.
Yeah.
He's great, but they need another scorer.
Dude, yeah,
and they're not going to rely on Williams and fucking Giddey to hit 3s. That's why I'm just like, they're still missing a piece, which is crazy to say, right? Because it's like they have all these pieces, but they're missing like a key shooter. Like even bringing a veteran that can clip 3s, like they don't even seem to have that. They're so young. That was the other thing I told you a while ago. Is like I think they need like a solid veteran, kind of like the Grizzlies did when they started fucking up. Is like they don't have like character problems, but it's more just like. They're very young. They're very raw to the NBA. Like, even when they get a little bit older, all of a sudden they bring in 3 new young guys. And it's like, I don't think SGA is at the point where he can, like, groom young guys yet. So like a veteran is super important on the team. Oh my god. Pause.
Dude, honestly, you know who grooms young guys very well is Chris Paul. Because when I feel like that's when SGA took like that next step, was when he had Chris Paul there. So yeah, it's just, the Thunder are going to be really fun, really good regular season team. Fun to, I don't know, maybe SGA gets his way into the MVP conversation, but just like, there's somebody to keep an eye on. As far as, let's see, so yeah, the Nuggets. So like, let's talk about that game the other night, the Nuggets Warriors. In some ways, I was encouraged. Some ways I was discouraged. Like, obviously they're missing Jamal Murray, which is huge. Don't get me wrong.
Draymond.
But yes, not just Draymond, but Gary Payton II.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm of the camp that like Gary Payton II is, maybe he can't do it for 40 minutes a night, but when he's out there, like he's like a top 40 most impactful guy in the whole NBA. Like I'm dead serious. Like, and the like estimated plus minus like bears it out. I got to find the one from the year they won the championship. He is just like an absolute outlier. I think he's leading the league in plus minus also, like off the bench. Like he just comes in and it's such a freak thing, but he is a power forward. Like he basically like plays center. And I remember like he gave Jokic hell, like just him like being there, fucking swiping at the ball, doing all his shit. And then plus, like, obviously, Draymond, you're missing your whole defensive leader. So with that said, it kind of made sense. There were some like very soft foul calls on Jokic. It's kind of started to turn me against Jokic. Like, dude, what? Like,
I fucking hate him.
Dude, he literally like, dude, by the way, does he not remind you of Chris Hansen a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, he reminds me. And who, by the way, ended up being an awesome player at UC San Diego. But yeah, dude, like his complaining and shit, like, and they did that. The one he complained the most about, they showed the replay and there was literally zero contact. And it's just annoying because his whole game is like, he's backing you down and he's low key, just like he's pushing on you and using his hands and all this stuff. And then he does like Curry had that funny thing where he like flexed. Because he's like, oh, yeah, I'm so strong that I just like moved Jokic 280 pounds like off his spot. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of feel like the Warriors match up, honestly. Once if you can implement those two other guys and the Warriors are still like trying to figure it out. Wiggins like has poo-poo in his butt.
I think bringing in like replacing Paul with Poole is good for their road problems. Just brings in like a very strong veteran presence and like Poole's not just being a fucking dumbass. Like, you've seen the shit he's been doing on the Wizards. Like,
oh my God.
That shit doesn't fly when you're trying to win games on the road, especially. And, like, dude, here's the thing is, like, I thought about it is Chris Paul's been on a lot of teams, but there's been a lot of success on those teams, especially with the Thunder, like, where they were. They just seemed like they had all these picks and everything. They just seemed like a little bit of a broken franchise. And, like you said, look where SGA is now, dude. Like, so as much, it's still taking time for me. I'm like almost there, but it's taking time because I fucking hated that guy more than anyone. Like, and that's today's NBA, I guess, is the way I'll write it off. It's my team, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. But like, yeah, it's definitely been a little weird. But the other team,
wait, I just wanted to say, so I was the only reason why I was like high on the Chris Paul thing. Partially, it's just a total homer thing where I talked myself into it, but there is something to like, you can't quite put your finger on it with Chris Paul. Like, what is he doing that's helping your team? You just see old and gets injured and, assists, pretty like abysmal shooting percentages. But like his last three or four, like I think his last four stops, like the year that he got there, that team took a massive like step forward. If you think about like when they brought him onto the Rockets, that team, like all of a sudden they were like contending with the Warriors, like probably the second best team in the NBA. Yeah. Then when he they thought he was cooked. They sent him over to the Thunder. All of a sudden the Thunder make the playoffs. Then they send him over to Phoenix. Wait, am I missing one? No. Then they send him over to Phoenix. And then Phoenix all of a sudden is in the NBA finals the first year.
Yeah,
and it's like, you just keep, and then now he's on the Warriors. And now I think the Warriors are going to be much better.
They look better than they did last year.
I love watching the second unit. It's like him with Kuminga and Moody needs way more minutes and just the bigs. Him and Saric is like, it's just great vibes. Like Saric just wets threes. Anyway, that's enough dubs. But yeah. So what was the other team you were going to bring up?
I was going to say how right you were on the Pacers, dude.
I thought I had to write them off after they gave up 150 points to the Celtics and like lost by like 60. But then they did the same thing.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of all over the place, but like starting 6-3 is super solid, and Halliburton's an all-star for sure, dude. That guy is good. Have you seen his jump shot, dude? It looks so ugly.
I know.
But then Miles Turner's kind of back into his like ways. He's just had a lot of injury struggles, and this Pacers have stuck with him, so good for them. But I loved him in college, and like at Arizona, I love Mathurin, dude. Huge fan. That guy's like hyper athlete, like can bounce out of the gym. He might pull the trigger too much from three, but I really enjoy watching that guy. I thought like that was a steal. They got him in the lottery, but a little bit later on. So we'll see. After like those 4 teams in the East, there's like a huge drop off, and I think they're just like a solid 5 team. Like I think they're way above any other team like in that realm. They seem to like always hover around there, then end up at like 7, but I could see them making some noise in the playoffs. They have a good home crowd, and then like Buddy Hield's just a bucket still. Like he rotted away in Sacramento for so long, but like his shooting percentages were like getting there with like Curry almost. In some seasons, I was like, holy shit. But he wasn't just in Sacramento and they were bad. They had to move on because they just needed a fresh start. But like, dude, he's still just great. Like I know he's only averaging like 15 a game, but still he's getting old. But like he's a guy Oklahoma City could use, just like sitting in there. Clipping threes, and I don't know. I like him. I was a little against him because all my friends are Pacers fans. They didn't want to like root for their team, but they look good, man. They look good. And I think like as time goes on, Mathurin's game is just going to get better and better.
Yeah, like Mathurin, like Mathurin hasn't even like had a great start to the year for like what expectations, and like still it's like him and Halliburton. That is such a sick backcourt, and they've like the perfect like Halliburton is like by nature a pass first guy, and then like Mathurin is a shoot first guy, and then they've got Bruce Brown and like Obi Toppin, just like random role player, like pretty sick.
Yeah. The other team that's looked a little interesting in the East for some reason is the Knicks.
I know.
But I'm not sure how long that'll last, but I'm just surprised with like how RJ Barrett started, like averaging 20 a game. But I don't know, Randall, Barrett, and Brunson is just like, at first it was like, God, that's so Knicks, but now it's just like, is that kind of good? And then quickly he's like going like this and this and this, and it's like they kind of just have a solid core, low-key. I don't know.
Dude, and also like the Magic, who like are our team in the East, are looking good.
Yeah, they're great.
I would love to just like watch a 7-game series of the Magic versus the Thunder.
Just on repeat.
Well, I guess that's what like the play-in is going to be fun, dude. Yeah. Also, like, okay, you can call me stupid, but I have my 2 long shot. Thunder and T-Wolves to win the West. I just put a small sprinkle on an Eastern. I'll give you 3 guesses to guess it. I bet you can't. To win the East, a surprise team.
Cavs.
No.
Is it not in the top? Is it not Sixers, Celtics, or Bucks?
No. It's a long shot. No. Okay, I'll just tell you. It's
Nets.
No.
I have one more guess. Raptors.
Okay. Well, no. Oh, the Atlanta Hawks.
Hawks.
Dude, I mean, people forget that they did make an Eastern Conference Finals a couple years ago. There's teams a little bit in shambles, or was a little bit in shambles the past couple years, but they got rid of John Collins finally, and they brought in Jalen Johnson, whoever the hell that is.
Yeah.
And like he literally, I've watched a couple of their games. Like
he went to Duke.
He's the Duke guy. I've watched a couple of their games, and I've like seen this comp online. Like people are saying like he is like the closest thing like people have seen to like Scottie Pippen, like just fresh out, like just as an NBA player. So like he's just like a stud defensive player, and it seems like it's completely unlocked. I mean, they just beat the Magic by 1. Trae Young went off. They're 5-3 after starting 0-2. I just kind of like their team. DeJounte Murray, Trae Young.
DeJounte Murray is just really good. He's like a villain almost. But then Bogdanovich is just a certified bucket. And DeAndre
just like
Hunter
also
DeAndre Hunter is a good defender.
And Okongwu just as like a role player, and then Sadiq Bey is just like a deep role player. So yeah, I think there's a chance that the East seemed like it was the most top heavy there ever was, but all of a sudden like now it's like the Celtics. Like a lot of people, the Celtics fans were Boston fans were like just like just absolutely coming everywhere. Just the fact they were 5-0, and now they're 5-2. So they now have the same record as the Dubs do on the road, by the way. So they're definitely the favorite to come out of the East, but Milwaukee, it's just not a sure thing as it turns out. It's not. Their defense is so shitty, and they're like the whole coaching change. Like I last year I was pretty annoyed. Like Giannis, as far as like superstars goes, he is like one of the more coddled guys in the league, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone loves Giannis. Like I was annoyed with the year when Steph won the championship and Finals MVP, and it's like, well, but Giannis is still the best player in the league, and it's just like, dude, like his one championship was he was like completely outplayed by Kevin Durant, and this was the Kevin Durant Nets without Kyrie, and then like the step on the line, and then he, they got to play like it was a bubble. It was basically a bubble one. So I'm just like not. And then last year they just lost. Like you can't lose in the first round, and you can't lose in the first round, whatever it was, 4-1. Like I'm sorry,
feel better, I don't really like look at him as like a Finals MVP ring winner.
No, I don't. And he had an amazing finals where he's like scoring like 50 points and stuff. But like it does seem like a dream that like that Chris Paul and Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton went to the finals. But so anyway, like I felt like he got no heat last year from just flaming out in the first round, and then all the blame went on to Budenholzer. And it's like Budenholzer's an awesome coach. Like you guys are consistently the 1 seed.
You turn your franchise around.
Your franchise around. And Drew Holiday is so underrated. And like I got annoyed. I don't know if did Brook Lopez win Defensive Player of the Year? I think he might have. Like they basically have like 3 defensive players of the year, like Giannis, Drew, and Brook Lopez last year.
Drew's gone though.
Yeah, now Drew's gone, and it's like all of a sudden all of a sudden now they don't look like the same defensive player, because it's like Giannis is just not. He's not really like last year when Jimmy Butler was just torching them. Like Giannis isn't a guy that can just guard on ball and shut someone down. He's more of just like a free safety, big tall man. So I don't know. It's just this is going to be an awesome year for the NBA, and I just kind of hope the Nuggets don't win.
Yeah, they just look like by far the best team in the league. But NBA playoffs, it's the same thing as NFL in a way. It's like once you get past the first round, any team can be beat, I would say. The 8 seed usually is pretty shitty, especially in the East. It's been interesting to see the Kings struggle a little bit. The Clippers are a fucking nightmare. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. But I will see. It's
so fun. The super teams that were made this year are like
average.
First of all, like no one gives any, like you don't get any shit for that anymore. Like it's like Bradley Beal, Booker, and Durant. It's like whatever. Bring Damian Lillard into Milwaukee, whatever. And it's not really working. And I kind of love seeing like the Sixers with Nick Nurse. It's like trade Harden. You just got 2 good role players. And now like the Sixers are absolutely cooking. I mean, the Sixers only loss was the first game of the season at the Bucks by 1 with Lillard and Giannis on opening night. And they've beaten like good teams.
Embiid's the leading scorer in the league also.
Maxi's unlocked. So yeah, it just feels super wide open, super fun. Okay, very last thing, maybe 5 minutes. Like any college basketball thoughts?
Nothing yet. It's too early, but Our boys from St. Mary's look fucking solid.
Dude, we have to bet them every game until they're properly priced.
I don't know. They've been like, I go off Ken Palm a lot, and they are a little bit low on Ken Palm, which is surprising because last year they were always really fucking high.
But like, how I don't understand like how does Ken Palm work at the beginning of the year in terms of like bringing
it's a lot of statistics from last year, just like based on who they like kept and who they didn't. But like St. Mary's pretty much kept everyone, so I was a little confused by that.
They kept everyone, and like the only one they lost was like Logan Johnson, and that's honestly kind of a blessing because dude, Marcelonis is like looks like so like crafty and good as like their second guard. And then they brought in some like high recruit Australian guard that's just gonna slowly work his way into the second.
If you wanna get educated, watch the games on Tuesday. It's the Championship Classic, so Tuesday is Kansas, Kentucky, and Michigan State Duke. Kentucky, they've like brought in a recruiting class I haven't seen since like the John Wall era.
Yeah.
So watch the fuck out for them, dude. I'm super excited to watch them go up against Kansas, just because Kansas is, I think, a little overrated in a sense. They got Hunter Dickinson from Michigan, which is huge, but Kentucky, oh man, I like, even if they like end up with like 7 losses going into the tournament, which I think is about where they are. Yeah. Just watch Rob Dillingham on Tuesday, dude. He is so sick. Like I watched him and like he was on like an AAU team called the Blue Checks, and I thought it was like almost like a Twitter team. I don't even really fucking know, because he looked like he's really short, but he looked like so mature. But like it was like the most Curry-esque I've seen like in college in a long time. Like really pull up, like I haven't seen anything like that in a while. So watching him on Tuesday, but I think like after a week there'll be much more of a reaction. But everyone, it's kind of like college football in week 0. It's just bad teams beating up, or good teams beating up on bad teams. So this week we'll cruise into the Maui Invitational and all that shit, and that'll be when the good games start. But tonight is Duke Arizona also at 4.
All right, that's fire. I'll be tuning into that. I mean, it's hard for me to get a grasp on what's going on because of A, the transfer portal, and B, just like now all of these international bros are coming over that are going to be draft picks and stuff. So I again, like I've got 75-1 on St. Mary's to win the championship. Me and Jeff Goodman, dude, Jeff Goodman picked them to be in the Final Four. Yeah, which is just Jeff pretty sick.
Jeff Goodman knows his shit. John Rossi knows his shit. John Fanta knows his shit. Gottlieb is good. There's a market for college basketball analysts that know all this shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I just as far as like, well, I'm just looking at conference because I kind of want to like have a team in every conference so that I can root for. Like I've already, we've got St. Mary's, we've got Gonzaga. St. Mary's, James Madison. I'm just like taking a wild card and just becoming an Oklahoma basketball fan this year, just because they got some kid McCollum that's supposed to be just like a total stud that nobody knows about. And just anytime I hear like total stud guard, like older, like it tells me like that's a team that could overachieve. And I think they're picked to finish second to last in the Big 12. And I just, you know what? I'm riding Oklahoma. I don't know who to ride. How's IU this year?
They're good. They're like 4th best in the conference, probably.
Okay. So like,
if you want to get behind them, they just got a 7-footer from Oregon. They have a 6-year point guard that's like torn his ACL the last 2 years. They have young talent. Like they definitely have a shot to win it for sure. Okay,
so then I'll be an Indiana fan because you know what? They have pretty good odds. It goes Purdue, Michigan State, Illinois, Maryland, Wisconsin, and then Indiana. Indiana is 20-1 to win the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean the Big Ten's like the hardest conference to win these days,
but like they'll probably,
it's always open.
They'll probably make the tournament. What about, so I've got a team in the Big 12. I now have a team in the
USC is a fun watch.
Yeah, I feel like I got to pick one of those local teams.
Isaiah Collier's like definitely a top 5 pick in the draft. He looked crazy good last night.
I guess like I find myself not wanting to root for USC just because of the brawny experience when he comes in and he's just an average bench player. Like
this Collier guy is like as good as it gets in college.
Okay, so would you? Okay, so maybe USC is my team. Maybe UCLA
And then
also. Though.
Alabama, like they're the 3rd ranked team in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a 6'10" power forward who's like dunk mixtape like all season, all preseason. So like they're gonna be a fun team. Nate Oates is a great coach. I just like every year they were the Alabama basketball brand for so long that couldn't make a fucking jumper, and he's turned it around. Like team was so good last year with Brandon Miller and company, and I think they're gonna make some noise in the SEC. I think 24 is like way underranked for them.
So I'm looking at that.
Yeah,
I'm looking at that conference, the SEC. It's Tennessee, then Texas A&M, then Kentucky, then Auburn, and then a 3-way tie at 8-1 with Alabama, Florida, and Arkansas.
Yeah.
Do we jump? My only question is, do we just jump on the Muss bus?
Yeah, that conference is like SEC basketball for so long is irrelevant. It's just becoming super fun. So I'm an Alabama guy, but I mean,
Bama guy.
Arkansas pisses me off sometimes. It's just a very hyper athletic team that's just not that fun to watch because like they end up like not being able to shoot that well. So that's kind of my knock on them. Just like overall watching them, I guess.
Okay.
It'll be a really fun team to watch. Okay.
Well, sick. All right, we both got to go. So that was just a lot of sports. We got to do an NBA show at some point.
Yeah, that was good banter on the NBA.
That was good NBA. I love some NBA banter. Mostly just a bitch. All right. Thanks for everyone who stuck it through to the end. Like and subscribe, and we are